Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as Agape boarding school. But before we do, the usual disclaimers. First off, if I'm a little tired, I've been front loading for the next week all day. You know, the whole work smarter, not harder. I enjoyed sleep for the last 2 weeks. I'd like to continue to enjoy sleep, but God, this is difficult. I did deal with massive amounts of Dr. Matthew Israel's stupidity, so please pardon me if I seem slightly brain dead. I feel like I killed a lot of major brain cells just reading his bullshit, okay? Fuck the JRC and fuck Agape boarding school. Just saying. All right, folks, now to the disclaimers. In the description box, you are going to find all the pertinent links to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has, as of right now, over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all substantiated on hard evidence by the Missouri Department of Social Services. That include sexual assault, sodomy, rape, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, and yes, even starvation. We've got one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor who still lives on the premises, up on multiple claims substantiated again by the Missouri Department of Social Services of sodomy, rape, sexual assault on the kids there. You got an attorney general in his last few days still refuses to answer any questions on what the hell he's doing in regards to this case. And a governor who's up on a fucking mega power trip from hell. So, folks, please read all of these articles. Share them on all your social media, and don't forget to share and sign the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. And in another state, a progressive state, just in case you all get the false idea that only GOP Christians get up to this insane shit, we got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, coming out of Canton, Massachusetts, in one of the most progressive states in the union. Their school, the JRC, has a body count of 6 students dead. We have included Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss Agape boarding school, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of that one video we got of people with disabilities, mental health issues, and people who are just maybe having issues in school, being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and talk about dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger, parental supervision is advised. All right, folks, last video. So if I seem brain dead, it's because I am, and I apologize, all right? Okay, so where we left off last week. On March 22nd, 2021, Governor Mike Parson directed the Attorney General's office to assist in the investigation of Agape. So you had a year and still done nothing. The governor's still done nothing. Oh, but we're going to sue Biden because that's more important. We're going to protect kids from having someone, a drag queen, read stories to kids, completely harmless. But that's more important than protecting these kids. Got it. If it sounds like I'm salty, it's because I am. I'm freaking beyond exhausted and just done with my entire state. Please get me the hell out of here. Get us all out. Judy L. Thomas and Laura Bauer. Missouri Reform School investigation grows. Parsons directs AG to investigate. Kansas City Star, March 23rd, 2021, and available at blah, blah, blah. Approximately 4 months later, in August 2021, Attorney General Eric Schmidt, the fucking coward, recommended criminal charges against 22 current and former employees of Agape with 65 counts on the behalf of 36 victims, including felonies of abuse of a child and tampering with a victim, and misdemeanors for endangering the welfare of a child and failure to report child abuse. What about the rape, Eric? What about the sexual abuse of the children? Why is this not being addressed? These kids have been sexually assaulted. There's been hard evidence brought before you, yet you still refuse to charge them with it. Why is that? Because I'm not seeing it mentioned anywhere in here. You would think, with how particularly heinous that is, you would have put it in the report. But oh, no, not Missouri. Is it because you don't want it leveled against a church, Eric? You afraid those mega churches just might yank all that money out of your war chest? If they're actual Christian churches, why are they protecting pedophiles hiding behind the shield of the cross? Those of us of faith learned long ago, God is not mocked. How do you think, if you are a believer, Jesus is going to take to people being allowed to use him as a shield when they are committing pedophilic atrocities against children? Something tells me he's not going to be too happy with these individuals. Or the people who allowed it to go on or tried to hush it up, Eric. Letters from Missouri Attorney General Eric S. Schmidt to Missouri Governor Michael Parson, September the 23rd, 2021. The Attorney General's office was prevented from filing these charges against 21 of the 22 current and former employees of Agape because Cedar County prosecuting attorney retained jurisdiction and control over the cases. See, this is what I don't get. You're the fucking Attorney General. Just take the case. You have preeminence here. You have the authority. And you let that small town little crook run circles around you. It's an embarrassment, Eric. It's an embarrassment. How do you look at yourself in the mirror? I'm supposed to believe you're going to take on Washington for Missouri? You let this guy make a fool out of you. You are the Attorney General, sir. Use the power of your goddamn office. You don't seem to have any problem swinging your dick around when it comes to Biden. But one small, tiny county prosecutor scares you? You are aware that you do have the right to legally take over the case entirely, right? Legally. You have grounds. If he is obstructing justice in an obvious case of child abuse, you have the right to use the full power of your office to take the case from him. Yet you do nothing. And you use him as a scapegoat. And then you tried to get out of it. But it was election time, so you had to look like you were doing something. And your little apologizers have been all over the place telling victims to stop. He's doing all he can. Bullshit, Eric. You and I know it's bullshit. So were you really scared of the small county prosecutor? Or were you scared that the mega churches that support Agape wouldn't fund your war chest anymore? I do wonder, during election year, when their money counts and they hold all the wealth in this fucking state, which one is it? Because as we know with JRC, always follow the money. Just saying. In September of 2021, the Cedar County prosecuting attorney filed criminal charges against 5 Agape employees, far fewer than the number of the charges recommended by the Attorney General. 5 Missouri boarding school employees charged with abuse. Available blah blah blah. One individual charged by the Cedar County prosecuting attorney is currently employed at Agape and was listed on September 8th, 2022 roster provided by Agape. Here's my question, and when you have an adequate case here, Eric, of someone violating Missouri law, when you have someone who is literally on the child abuse registry in our state, and it is shown that they are a current employee, why the fuck didn't you act? That is, point, case, and example. It was fed to you on a silver spoon and you still did nothing. So which one is it, Eric? Are we complicit or are we a coward? Because cowards get eaten alive in Washington, Eric. They get eaten alive. And no amount of blowing smoke up Trump's ass, no amount of regurgitating failed policies from the Trump administration is going to save your ass from them. So what is it? Are you a coward or are you complicit? One does have to wonder. And I'm going to close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see y'all next week.